Hello everyone, welcome back to the epicenter of the awakening, where we dismantle the most dangerous lies ever told to the human soul. Today, we are opening the door to the most private and protected room in your life, the bedroom, to expose a terrifying psychological truth. Have you ever felt it? That bone-deep, electric intensity that feels more like a religious experience than a simple physical act? You've been told that this level of passion is the hallmark of a soulmate connection, but your gut is screaming that something is profoundly wrong. We are asking the big haunting question that keeps you trapped in the fog. Why does sex with a narcissist feel more addictive than the healthiest love you've ever known? Imagine standing in a dark room, blinded by a flash of light so intense it burns your retinas. That is the narcissist entering your world. They don't just offer attraction, they offer a biological heist. They colonize your nervous system before you even realize the gates have been breached. In the beginning, the intimacy isn't just passion, it's a weapon of war disguised as a gift. You aren't experiencing romance, you are experiencing the first dose of a potent neurochemical cocktail designed to bypass your logic and bind your spirit to a ghost. We are peeling back the skin on the sex as a drug trap to show you the dealer's cold eyes. Most survivors describe this early stage as supernatural, as if they finally found the one person who speaks the secret language of their body. But this is the ultimate deception. The narcissist is not connecting with you. They are mirroring your deepest, most sacred cravings. They observe your every reaction with a clinical, predatory focus to become exactly what you desire most. It is a cinematic ritual of entrapment where your own biology is weaponized against you. You are being dosed with dopamine and oxytocin in quantities your brain was never meant to process without a foundation of trust. You spend months, even years, trying to explain this connection to people who have never danced with a predator. They tell you to just walk away, but they don't understand that you are physically tethered to a void. When you are with the narcissist, the world outside dissolves. The air feels thicker, the colors are more vivid, and your heart beats with a frantic, desperate rhythm that you mistake for true love. In reality, you are a junkie for a person who views your devotion as a cheap commodity. You are experiencing a high-frequency manipulation that has effectively reprogrammed your survival instincts. Let's be blunt, the intensity you feel is the result of intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological trick used in slot machines to create gambling addicts. In a healthy relationship, affection is steady and predictable, it's the daily bread of life. But with a narcissist, affection is a gamble. They give you heaven for an hour, then hell for a week. That unpredictability creates a biological craving so strong it overrides your self-preservation. You find yourself enduring the coldness and the lies just for one more hit of that electric connection. You are gambling with your sanity, and the house always wins. The haunting question lingers because the disconnect is so brutal. How can someone who treats you like trash in the kitchen treat you like a god in the bed? This is the core of the addiction. The narcissist uses intimacy to reset the abuse cycle. Right when you've finally had enough of the gaslighting and the silent treatment, they pull you back in with a burst of physical intensity that makes you forget the bruises on your spirit. It's a trauma bond forged in the fires of manipulation. They are not loving you, they are rehooking you to the supply line before the battery runs out. You are currently in the idealization phase, where the drug is pure and the price seems worth it. You tell yourself that no one else has ever made you feel this way, and you're right, because no one else has ever tried to hack your brain chemistry so aggressively. But you are already beginning to notice the side effects. The crushing anxiety when they go silent, the feeling of being hollowed out even after a night of passion, the way your self-worth has become entirely dependent on their mood. These are the shakes. This is withdrawal. You are no longer an independent agent. You are a satellite orbiting a dead planet. The narcissist is a pharmacological predator. They don't care about your pleasure except as a metric of their own power. They monitor your reactions to see which dose keeps you compliant. If you respond to tenderness, they mimic it until they have your trust. If you respond to dominance, they weaponize it to break your will. They aren't in the room with you. They are in a laboratory, observing the effects of their toxins on your psyche. They don't want a partner, they want a devotee. Your orgasm of connection is simply the validation of their false divinity. Stay with me, because we are about to dismantle the mechanics of this soul theft. We are moving past the feel-good illusions and into the clinical reality of how they rewired your brain. This isn't a story about a bad breakup, it's a documentary of a psychological hijacking. You need to understand the chemistry of the drug if you ever hope to get clean. The narcissist wants you to believe this is destiny, but I am here to tell you it is design. You were targeted because your capacity for deep connection made you the perfect vessel for their experiments in human suffering. The exposure begins now. Don't look away, even if the truth burns. The haunting question of why you can't leave is about to be answered with such blunt force that the spell will begin to crack. You are not weak, and you are not addicted to drama. You are a human being whose biological reward system has been weaponized by a specialist in manipulation. We are going to deconstruct the sex versus love trap, paragraph by paragraph, until you see the dealer for what they really are, a hollow creature holding a syringe full of shadows. To understand the addiction, we must analyze the neurochemistry of the void. The narcissist provides what psychologists call a superstimulus. In the natural world, love is a slow-growing vine. In the narcissistic matrix, it is a lightning strike. Your brain is not equipped to handle this level of stimulation without forming an immediate, desperate attachment. The narcissist creates a dopamine spike that is identical to the rush of a narcotic. When you are with them, your frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for logic and boundaries, literally shuts down. You are operating on pure, animalistic need. Metaphorically, the narcissist is a hydraulic predator. They create a vacuum in your life by isolating you, criticizing you, and making you feel small. Then, they fill that vacuum with a sudden, overwhelming burst of physical affection. This pressure differential is what creates the rush. It's like a person being held underwater who is suddenly allowed to gasp for air. That breath feels like the greatest thing in the world, not because it's special, but because you were dying without it. The narcissist is the one holding your head underwater, and they want you to thank them for the oxygen. This is the casino effect. Imagine walking into a dark room where the lights are flashing and the bells are ringing. The narcissist is the grand prize that you almost won. They give you near misses, moments where they almost seem like the person you thought they were. This keeps you pulling the lever. Your brain becomes addicted to the pursuit. You aren't actually in love with the narcissist, you are in love with the possibility of them. You are chasing a hologram through a hall of mirrors, and every time you think you've caught them, they dissolve into cold, clinical indifference. Let's talk about oxytocin weaponization. Oxytocin is the cuddle hormone, the chemical foundation of trust and safety. During intimacy, your brain floods with it. For a normal human, this leads to bonding. For a narcissist, this is a vulnerability window. While you are chemically primed to trust them, they are planting seeds of doubt, subtle insults, or future-faking promises. They are programming you while your defenses are down. It is a biological Trojan horse. They enter the city of your heart under the guise of a gift, only to burn it down from the inside once you are asleep. The trauma bond is the most visceral metaphor of all. It is the Stockholm syndrome of the bedroom. You begin to associate your abuser with your relief. Because the narcissist is the only one who can stop the pain they caused, you turn to them for comfort after they devalue you. This creates a superglue effect. In the bedroom, this manifests as make-up sex that feels world-shattering. It's not passion, it's the frantic, hysterical relief of a prisoner being told they won't be executed today. You are bonding to your captor through the very act that should be your most sacred expression of freedom. The narcissist lacks affective empathy, but they have mastered cognitive empathy. They can't feel your pain, but they can calculate it. They know exactly which physical gestures will make you feel seen. They use eye contact as a weapon of entrapment. Have you noticed that dead-eyed stare that often occurs right after the act? That is the mask slipping. The performer is tired, and the machine is reset. They have harvested your energy, and now they are looking at you like a discarded candy wrapper. The drug has been delivered, and the dealer is already thinking about the next transaction. You are living in a sensory deprivation tank of their making. By devaluing your personality, your intelligence, and your social standing, they make your physical connection the only place where you feel valid. They starve you of emotional intimacy so that the physical act becomes your only food. You become like a lab animal that will press a button 1,000 times for one pellet of sugar. This is weaponized deprivation. They aren't great in bed. They have just made the rest of your life so miserable that the bed is the only place where you still feel like a human being. The metaphor of the emotional vampire is literal here. They are energy scavengers. During intimacy, they are not giving, they are taking. They are feeding on your light, your vitality, and your supply. Have you noticed how exhausted you feel after being with them, while they seem energized and shining? You are a biological battery being drained to power their false self. The drug they give you is just a sedative to keep you still while they feed. It is a parasitic relationship disguised as a romantic one, and the high is just the feeling of your own life force being siphoned away. Why does it feel so dirty or hollow afterwards? That is your intuition trying to break through the chemical haze. Your soul knows it has been violated, even if your body is still buzzing from the dopamine. This post-coital dysphoria is the crash. It is the moment the drug wears off and you realize you are still alone, still unloved, and still in danger. The narcissist senses this and will often pick a fight or withdraw completely to ensure you are left in a state of hunger. They want to make sure the crash is so painful that you will do anything to get back to the high. We are approaching the turning point. You have seen the lab, you have seen the chemicals, and you have seen the dealer's cold eyes. Now, we are going to look at what happens when the drug stops working. What happens when the junkie starts to wake up? The narcissist has a final dose they save for when they lose control, and it is the most toxic one of all. We are moving into the dramatic shift, where the power dynamic shatters and the addiction becomes a fight for your very survival. The mask is about to fall, and the monster underneath is starving for more. The dramatic turning point begins with a glitch in the matrix. It's the moment you realize the high isn't high enough anymore to mask the smell of the rot. You start to see the mechanical nature of their passion. You notice that they say the same things, use the same moves, and have the same dead eyes every single time. The secret knowledge begins to leak into your conscious mind. They aren't loving you, they are operating you. This realization is the first step of detox. And as soon as you stop being a good junkie, the narcissist's behavior undergoes a terrifying transformation. When you stop reacting with the same electric intensity, the narcissist experiences narcissistic injury. To them, your addiction was the proof of their divinity. If you aren't high on them, it means they are losing their power. Watch their reaction. They don't try to win you back with genuine love, they try to re-addict you with shock and awe. They might introduce darker elements into the bedroom, or they might engage in sexual triangulation, hinting that others are more appreciative of their gifts. They are trying to up the dosage because the old amount no longer keeps you compliant. This is the psychological plot twist. You thought they were the dealer, but they are also an addict. They are addicted to your supply. They need your reaction to feel real. When you become gray rock, cold, flat, and unresponsive, the narcissist begins to withdraw. They enter a state of ego collapse. They might cry, beg, or rage with a ferocity that feels life-threatening. They are crashing because their mirror has stopped reflecting a god. The predator is suddenly revealed to be a frantic, starving child hiding behind a wall of arrogance. They need you to be addicted to them to exist. The shift is visceral. For the first time, you feel a sense of disgust where there used to be desire. The drug now tastes like poison. You look at them and see a biological machine, a pathological entity, rather than a lover. This is the moment the trauma bond begins to fray. The narcissist senses this energetic divorce and will resort to sexual coercion or emotional blackmail. They want to force the dose into your system. They will use your past vulnerabilities and your secrets to try and break your new boundaries. The bedroom is now a war zone, and your autonomy is the casualty. Let's talk about weaponized withholding. When the narcissist realizes they can't hook you with intensity, they will try to break you with deprivation. They will stop touching you entirely. They will sleep on the couch, or stay out late without calling. They want to trigger your abandonment anxiety. They want to see you beg for the drug. This is the cold turkey phase of the relationship. They are betting that your withdrawal symptoms will be so painful that you will crawl back and accept any level of abuse just to be seen again. It is a high-stakes game of psychological chicken. The cinematic tension is at its peak. You are sitting in the silence of your own home, feeling the ache in your bones. Every cell in your body is screaming for the oxytocin hit. You are scrolling through old photos of the idealization phase, trying to convince yourself that it wasn't all a lie. This is the relapse window. The narcissist knows this window exists and will often send a Hoover text at exactly the moment you are weakest. I was just thinking about that night. They are pinging your dopamine receptors, trying to see if the addiction is still active. They want their host back. But this time, you don't respond. You sit with the pain. You let the withdrawal wash over you like a tide of glass. This is sovereignty being born. The narcissist's panic escalates into malignant rage. They realize they are losing their primary source, and they begin to scout for a new host. You might see them on dating apps, or hear rumors of them with someone else. This is triangulation used as a final dose. They want to show you that the drug is available to someone else. They want to trigger your competitive jealousy to pull you back into the fix. They want you to fight for your chains. The plot twist intensifies. The narcissist is actually terrible in bed without your energy. They are a dead circuit. Without your glow to reflect, they are just a cold, mechanical shell. Their new partner will soon find out that the high is fake. The narcissist is a Ponzi scheme of intimacy. They use the capital they stole from you to attract the next person, but the account is fundamentally empty. They are bankrupt souls. You aren't losing a great lover, you are being released from a soul-sucking transaction that was destined to leave you penniless and broken. The illusion is finally dead. The withdrawal is not just emotional, it is physical. You might experience headaches, insomnia, or even flu-like symptoms. Your body is detoxing from the toxic stress of the relationship. The narcissist's touch was actually cortisol disguised as love. You are healing from systemic inflammation of the spirit. Every day you stay away, the receptors in your brain are resetting. You are learning to breathe your own oxygen again. The dealer is still standing on the corner, but you have realized that the product was just ground-up glass mixed with sugar. The cravings are lying to you. We are moving into the collapse and consequences. The narcissist has lost their supply, and the void is closing in on them. We are going to see the social and internal rot that follows the end of the addiction. The tone is getting darker and harsher because the truth is a brutal surgeon. The narcissist is about to face the one thing they cannot gaslight, the silence of a life lived without genuine connection. The ego death of the predator is coming, and you are the witness who finally walked away. The addiction is breaking, and for the first time, you are looking at the horizon. The collapse of the narcissist is a slow-motion cinematic car crash. It begins with the erosion of the mask. Without a primary source like you to regulate their false self, the narcissist begins to decompensate. They become a caricature of their own pathology. They might engage in reckless sexual behavior, substance abuse, or public meltdowns. They are frantic to fill the void. The betrayal of your trust was the cracked foundation that finally caused the entire ego structure to tilt. They never realized that you were the glue holding their fractured identity together. Now, they are falling apart. Internal panic for the narcissist feels like a biological end. They look in the mirror and see nothingness. They are haunted by narcissistic mortification, a shame so profound it feels like physical disintegration. They try to project this shame onto you, spreading smear campaigns and lies to anyone who will listen. They want to destroy your reputation because your thriving is a death sentence to their ego. They are a starving parasite that has killed its host and is now cannibalizing its own history. The tone is harsh because the reality is brutally ugly. The predator is now the prey of their own mind. Socially, the consequences are a slow-burn isolation. The narcissist's mask is melting. Their charisma now feels oily and desperate. People begin to see the pattern. The exes start talking to each other. The flying monkeys start to drift away as the narcissist's demands become too heavy. The narcissist is left in a desert of their own making. They never realized that integrity was the only currency that mattered in the long game. They spent their reputation to get a fleeting high, and now they are bankrupt. They are a ghost haunting a world that has moved on without them. Their addiction has a final act for the narcissist: obsession. They might stalk you, harass you, or monitor your life with clinical precision. They aren't doing this out of love, they are mining for negative supply. If they can't make you happy, they will make you miserable. Both are doses of relevance. They want to see that they still have the remote control to your emotions. Every reaction you give them is a hit of dopamine for their starving ego. This is why no contact is a life-saving medical intervention. You must stop being the pharmacist for their pathology. You must close the shop. Watch the physical decay of the predator. Stress is a poison. The narcissist often ages brutally once their supply lines are cut. They look hollowed out and tired. The energy they stole from you is running out, and they don't know how to generate their own. They are a device that can't hold a charge anymore. They plug into new people, but the connection is weak and flickering. They are obsolete technology in a world that is evolving toward authenticity. The sex as a drug trap has snapped shut on the dealer. They are trapped in their own empty laboratory, surrounded by broken glass. The internal rot is absolute. The narcissist starts to hate the new supply because they aren't you. They resent the work of having to start the performance over. They are bored with their own scripts, yet they can't write new ones. They are living ghosts haunting their own past conquests. They never realized that love was the only thing that grew over time. Their addiction to novelty has left them with a collection of broken toys. They are alone in a room full of strangers, still preening for an audience that has already left the theater. The lights are out, but they are still dancing. Consider the consequence of silence. While you are finding your voice, the narcissist is losing theirs. Their word salad no longer has the power to confuse. Their gaslighting no longer has the power to distort. They are shouting into a vacuum. They never realized that your belief in them was the only thing that made them real. Now that you have withdrawn your belief, they are fading into the static. They are white noise in the symphony of your recovery. You have edited them out of the final cut of your life. They have become a footnote in a story about your greatness. The narcissist enters the malignant phase. They become overtly cruel because subtlety takes too much energy. They burn every bridge just to see the light of the fire. They sabotage their own careers, friendships, and families. They are scorched earth personalities. But the world just walks away. People don't hate the narcissist, they are indifferent to them. This is the ultimate torment for the ego-obsessed. To be ignored is to cease to exist. The narcissist's betrayal of you was the suicide of their own relevance. They are a broadcast with no listeners. They are shouting at the wind. Use the metaphor of the sinking island. The narcissist is standing on a piece of land that is being reclaimed by the sea. They are screaming at the tide, but the water doesn't care. The betrayal of you was the earthquake that broke the island away from the mainland of humanity. Now, they are just drifting and drowning. They look toward the shore and see you standing on solid ground, and they realize, for a flicker of brutal clarity, that they threw away the only boat that could have saved them. That regret is the only honest thing they will ever feel. It is a cold, dark ending. The collapse is total. The narcissist is left with the ruins of a life that was built on theft. They have no reserve of goodwill. They have no history of kindness. They have only the echoes of their own betrayals. They never realized that loyalty was the currency of survival. Now, they are bankrupt in a world that doesn't accept counterfeit love. The final truth is about to be delivered, and it is the final nail in the coffin of their grandiosity. The predator is now obsolete. You are the survivor who became the sovereign. The addiction is dead. The sun is finally rising. We arrive at the final truth, the punch that shatters the spell forever. The narcissist never realized that by dosing you with addictive intimacy, they were actually exposing their own lack of substance. The drug was only effective as long as you believed the lie. But once you saw the dealer, the chemicals lost their power. Their betrayal was the key you didn't have the courage to turn yourself. They set you free from the psychological prison of their influence. They discarded you, but they actually exorcised themselves from your soul. You didn't lose love, you escaped a biological hijacking. Emotional closure comes from the absolute recognition of their smallness. You look back at the sex as a drug phase not as a tragedy, but as a biological function of a broken entity. A snake bites because it is a snake. A narcissist betrays because they are a narcissist. It was never about you. It was about their incapacity for depth. By accepting this brutal truth, you sever the emotional link. You are no longer waiting for an apology, because an apology from a narcissist is just more manipulation. You are the source of your own closure. You are the judge who has closed the case. Empowerment is the act of reclaiming your body. The narcissist tried to colonize your nervous system, but they only succeeded in tempering your steel. You are stronger, wiser, and more discerning because of the war you fought. The addiction was the fire that burned off the naivety. You are now manipulatable. You have a predator radar that is finely tuned. The narcissist's betrayal was the inciting incident that forced you to find your inner strength. You are sovereign. You are the ruler of your own chemistry. You are the master of your own desire. You are whole again. The cinematic closing is a slow burn of sovereignty. You see the narcissist in the rearview mirror of your life, a small, frantic figure fading into the distance. They are still venting, still lying, still betraying. But they are irrelevant to your atmosphere. You are breathing clean air. You are walking on solid ground. You have integrated the shadow and reclaimed the light. You are whole, and the narcissist is just a fragment of a bad dream you finally woke up from. The drug has cleared your system, and your vision is sharp. You are looking at a future that belongs to you. Deliver the final truth punch to the narcissist's ghost. You didn't destroy me, you destroyed the only thing that was real in your life. You traded a kingdom for a handful of dirt, and now you have to live in the mud. This is the verdict of reality. While you are building a legacy of integrity, the narcissist is building a grave of regret. They will never know the peace of being truly loved or truly trustworthy. They are doomed to the poverty of the spirit forever. You have won the long game by simply remaining human. You have outlasted the monster. You are the victor. Provide yourself with the final truth of your value. The narcissist's addiction strategy was a confession of your magnificence. They couldn't handle your light, so they tried to snuff it out with chemical chaos. But they only succeeded in spreading the fire. You are a force of nature. You are a soul with substance. You are unerasable. The addiction was the evidence that you were too much for a small soul to contain. You are free to be great. The detox is complete, and your vitality is returning. You are glowing from within, fueled by your own truth. You are magnificent. The final line is a quotable truth that echoes in the halls of psychological victory. The narcissist thought they were taking everything from you, but they actually gave you everything back: your time, your energy, your worth, and your future. They saved you from the burden of saving them. They are stuck with the one person who will never change, and you are free to change the world. You are the winner of the unfair game. The casino is closed, and you have walked out with your soul intact. You have everything you need. You are enough. You are more than enough. Think of the survivors watching this right now. We are an army of the awakened. We have seen the betrayal, we have felt the withdrawal, and we have resurrected the self. We are the living proof that truth is more powerful than lies. We are the light that exposes the predator. Your healing is the final blow to the narcissist's ego. Every happy day you live is a victory in the psychological war. We are clean, and we are powerful. We are the community of the sovereign. We are the ones who walked through the fire and came out as diamonds. We are unbreakable. As the credits roll on this chapter of your life, remember that the addiction was the ending of a false story and the beginning of a true one. You are the author, the director, and the star. The narcissist was just a bad extra who missed their lines. The betrayal was the final scene of the illusion. Now, the real movie starts. And it is beautiful. You are no longer a junkie, you are the alchemist. You have turned lead into gold. You have turned pain into power. You have turned the drug into the cure. You are the hero of your own existence. The final, blunt, clinical truth that the narcissist will never realize until it is too late: the drug they used to bind you was never their love, but your own reflection in their eyes, and now that you have found the mirror within, they have nothing left to sell. You have walked out of the laboratory. The predator is alone with the static of their own nothingness. You are sovereign. You are free. You are home. Your light is your own, and it is blinding. The world is waiting for you. Go live. Go love. Go be.